We've just seen firsthand an auction and how competitive and how difficult it is. I've just been talking to people who were first home buyers. A doctor just missed out on an auction for a one-bedroom unit. It just shows how tough it is for people to get into housing, and it shows that the government needs to respond. What we know is coming, if there is no action, is the loss of up to 500,000 jobs that are dependent upon a vibrant and dynamic building and construction industry. We know that the projections are, instead of 160 or 170,000 new dwellings being built, that figure's likely to be 100,000 this year and likely to be less if action isn't taken. Now, we have put forward a 5-point plan for the government to take up. Firstly, they should expand and lift the cap on the first home loan deposit scheme. They should do that, though, not for existing homes, but for new homes, so as to stimulate construction activity. That cap of 10,000 has already been reached. This would be a sensible and practical measure that would create jobs for tradies, create jobs that the sector right across the board depends upon. Of course, we know that areas like the timber and the materials that go into building a new home or a new unit, we know how important this industry is to stimulate the economy. And they're all telling us that come August and September, construction just falls off a cliff and we need action. So that's the first thing they could do. Second thing they could do is look at the possibility of considering grants to first home owners. That would make a difference and would help stimulate the economy. Thirdly, of course, they could look at public housing and social housing, putting that direct investment in to social housing. Fourthly, as we did when we were in government, look at refurbishing existing social housing, renovating, upgrading, improving the quality and therefore improving the value of that asset. When you invest in housing, it isn't money that's just gone. If you invest in social housing, it's an asset. It's an investment in the government's balance sheet, whether that be Commonwealth or at state levels. And areas we see like defence housing is an example whereby the Commonwealth is directly engaged in a scheme that has been very successful indeed. And fifthly, what they could do is to look at the affordable housing issue for essential workers. We know that our nurses, our cleaners, our emergency service workers and police are desperate for housing that enables people to live near where they work. Yesterday, with the local area command of the Inner West Police, I did a video trying to attract police to apply for jobs in this area, because there's a real issue that they have because people can't afford, in the police force, can't afford to live in the area in which they work. And this is a fundamental challenge for us as a society. These are the very workers that have seen us through this crisis, and they're deserving of support. So we call upon the Morrison government to have a comprehensive housing plan that builds jobs, that improves affordability, that makes a difference to the quality of life. Unless that happens, we will see more tradies queuing up at Centrelink than doing what they should be doing, which is working and looking after their families and contributing to the nation. Happy to take questions.
Albanese, can you just get out of that sun? Can we move it back up?
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Sweet. Thank you, mate. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, we're still going. We're not.
There's such a huge gap from the building and construction we will have because of the lack of international flying by our local international students. I mean, how far could your suggestions go to fill that hole if it's just refixing existing buildings or social housing?
Well, what we're proposing, we've proposed five ideas for the government. Every one of them would go some way to protecting the jobs of tradies and others in our economy. And it's something that we need to do. We're not being prescriptive about this. We are being constructive, as we have been consistently, as we were when we proposed wage subsidies. But this is a government that's complacent. What we know is that snapback would snap the spirit of communities and would snap our economy. The Reserve Bank told the government that just this week. What we need is actually a transition and a plan to keep the economy going. The idea that we have this massive impact on our economy on one day and just all the need for support disappears is not realistic. It's not fair income. And what it will do is result in an economic downturn. And just as we need to recover in a positive way that's consistent. Similar to the way that we deal with the health issues here. If we are complacent and we stop providing support for the economy, then there will be an impact on jobs. And what that does is feed into each other and create, say, a rolling maul going down in the wrong direction.